For PHLY, I'm Zach Berman here speaking with NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Davis here with Bet365. Terrell, there's one big place to start here, and that is Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl. You have the most rushing yards combined in a season when you combine regular season and postseason at 2,476. Saquon Barkley's near there. Do you want him to break your record?
Listen, man, it's not about whether I want him to, but if somebody's going to break it, it couldn't happen, to a better guy, man, a better athlete, better person. Excited for him and, his journey and where he was last year. Now he gets the chance to be in the postseason, one game away from winning the Super Bowl, man. So I'm happy for him, man. I mean, I always tell people, like, what's cool about watching football this time of year is that when you turn on a game and you see your name constantly being mentioned with, the best postseason, you see the yards, you see the, whether it's touchdowns, 100-yard games. And when you see that, man, I like seeing my name there. I love seeing my name there. But again, man, it's been a while, and I'm happy for him. And again, it couldn't happen to a better person. So he's going to break it. Obviously, I mean, he's only 29 yards away from it, so he'll break it. But they'll put me second and third. That's still pretty cool. I can live with that.
There's a lot of on your resume. There's obviously a lot of records, a lot of achievements. What's the significance of that one in particular? Because obviously, single season is important, but then you add in what you do in the postseason, and you were such an outstanding postseason performer.
To me, it carries a lot more weight because the games are more important. And when you could have that kind of success in the postseason and your team is having success, that's what we play the game for, man. And so when the biggest moments, the brightest lights, and you perform well, that's where I'm most proud of, is that when the stage was big, I was able to go and play and deliver and hold up my end of the bargain, be accountable to my teammates and, eventually win two Super Bowls. But yeah, man, I think that those are certainly numbers that I am more proud of when you get to the postseason as opposed to, I had good regular seasons too, but obviously postseasons carry more weight, the history, winning championships, that to me is more significant than anything in the regular season.
Something else significant is you were the last running back to win Super Bowl MVP. Do you think that's something that Saquon Barkley could join you with that distinction next weekend?
There's no question in my mind. I mean, he to me is the we always call about the star, the straw that stirs the drink. It's Saquon, and so with him in that offense and the way they run the football and his importance to that team, it looks likely that he'll be MVP if they win. He'll definitely get that honor, and I believe he'll be a guy to touch the ball 30 times this game. Like that's just what he's too special for him not to get the ball that many times. And I know that as a coach, when you walk off that field and this last game, you don't want to have any regrets. Sirianni, you don't want to have any regrets about not giving your best player the ball as many times as you can because he's very productive with it. And you can, if you lose and he gets the ball 40 times, you can live with that. You're like, you know what? We had our best player. He had the ball. And we, unfortunately we lost, but I see Saquon being a major factor, obviously, in this game. So yeah, he'll if they, again, if they win, he'll be MVP.
It's obvious for anyone watching that Saquon's a special running back, but for you as a Pro Football Hall of Famer, when you watch Saquon, what do you appreciate most that you have to have played the position at your level to really appreciate?
Man, I appreciate all the tools he has. It's rare you see a back that has every single trait of a great back. I was a big back. I had some speed. I wasn't, I didn't have top end speed. I had some vision. I had some cutting ability, but I wasn't shifty like Saquon is. So he's got power. His stop and starts are just ridiculous. He's got incredible moves, great spatial awareness. He can run physical. He can run in a different gear to where he's light on his feet, but yet he can punish you. But then obviously the big thing is when he breaks out, he's gone. I've never seen a man get caught. I mean, so have all those Those traits are phenomenal, and he's got the best sequence of moves that I've ever seen in my life. And you know what sequence I'm talking about? The spin move, backing up, jumping backwards over a defender. I would have never thought in my time that would even that's a possibility to even pull off a move like that. You do it in practice maybe, but not even in practice. You certainly ain't doing it in a football game. And so for him to have all those different things and be able to use them while he's playing, I mean, like not on like on Sundays, and dude, he's ridiculous, man. I enjoy watching him. He's an artist, man. Like when I watch backs, I think about art. I think everybody's got their own different styles, and he's got one that I believe it's sort of timeless. You can put Saquon back in the '60s, he would do well. Put him in the '70s, the '80s, '90s, early 2000s, and now, so he can play in any generation, and that's pretty rare.
I asked you about Super Bowl MVP. You've also been MVP of the season. And Saquon is a candidate for that this year, MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. It hasn't necessarily been a running back award in recent years, but you haven't seen many seasons like Saquon Barkley's year this year. Do you think this could be the year that a running back wins the MVP again?
I know. When did it stop being a run? When did it stop? Because when I was there, running backs were getting it every year, right? It was quarterbacks or running backs, but it was equally. It seems like if you're not a quarterback, it's almost impossible to win it because they put so much. I don't know. It was like they put stock in quarterbacks playing well. Obviously Lamar had a great season. Josh Allen had a phenomenal season. They even, where you talking about Joe Burrow was even in there as a candidate. But yeah, Saquon, if you can't win it this year, like when will a back ever win MVP? If this is not a most valuable player award for a running back, then I don't know what else he has to do. So yeah, I think he should be the lead dog in this race, and I hope he gets it though. I really do. I mean, I hope they realize that yeah, quarterbacks, they have good seasons. Their numbers are being inflated every single year, but what he's doing this year is special.
Speaking about running backs, Saquon Barkley was one of the few running backs who was able to get paid, right? And you look
Yeah,
at the rushing leaders this year: Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, the top two rushers, Josh Jacobs, not far behind. All those were free agent running backs. And this is a market that's been relatively depressed in recent years. Do you think their success could change the way running backs are viewed in the league and on the open market?
absolutely, absolutely, and that's what the demise of running backs came sort of like that, where teams were looking at backs, they were getting hurt, and they saw how that was affecting their team. So now this is kind of a cycle, and we're getting to a point where now teams are looking across the field and they're playing against the Saquons and the Derrick Henrys and the Josh Jacobs and the James Cooks, and they're like, wait a minute, if those teams who have those backs are now important for a number of reasons, mostly to help younger quarterbacks mature. But they also do a lot for your offensive line. They do a lot for your defense. You keep the other team off the field. They allow you to be able to play with the defense in terms of play action passes. So quarterbacks have a clear, better window when they're throwing. Even veteran quarterbacks can appreciate having a running back, because that guy, when he's hot and when he's the difference maker, it affects every single body. Everybody, I mean, everyone feeds off that, and it's just a calming factor when things get a little rough. I don't care what kind of weather you play in. If the wind is blowing, if you run the ball and you can do it well, it travels, and that's a nice tool to have. So with Saquon doing and coming off, like you said, everybody being free agents, and they're seeing how well these backs played. It's now time to get backs, get them paid again. Let's start moving that, get that up there, get that salary up a little bit. And now I think it really helps the backs who are coming into the draft this year. A lot of these backs like Gente, teams aren't going to be afraid to pick them high because they know how important they are to a team.
Last question here, because you're here with Bet365. I want to give you some Saquon Barkley player props and just let me know over under. What do you think? So
Okay,
rushing yards, 115.5 over under for Saquon Barkley.
115.
115.5. Yep.
Oh,
So
it's
over or under.
over. I'm going over.
Over.
Over. Yeah.
Rushing attempts, 22.5.
Over. I told you I'm going over.
Rushing and receiving yards combined, 132.5.
Oh, over.
And then receiving yards, 13.5.
Oh, he'll get over. Yeah, he'll get over that. Yeah,
So it
I'm
sounds
going
like
over.
you're expecting. It sounds like you're expecting a good game from Saquon Barkley. Final thing, what's your prediction? Eagles Chiefs. What do you think?
Oh man, I haven't. I always wait until the last. I always wait till the Saturday before the game before I make my prediction. But I would say I'm leaning Eagles right now. I'm leaning Eagles. I don't have a final prediction, so I have to get down there and kind of see, read the tea leaves, see what's happening, see what happens throughout the week. But I'm leaning. I'm leaning Eagles right now.
That's Terrell Davis, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Super Bowl MVP, NFL MVP, all-time single-season rushing record when combining the postseason. Terrell Davis, thanks for joining us today.
No problem, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.